Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to the Having It All podcast. My name is Matthew Bivens, and I am very, very excited that you're here with me today because we got a really cool topic, and we have a whole new series of episodes that we're going to be kicking off today, and I am super pumped about this. I know you are as well. So, if you are new to the show, then welcome. I'm very grateful that you would take a risk on this podcast, take a risk on tuning in and just listening and checking out what we got going on here at Having It All podcast, because it's unique, it's different. And one of the biggest differences is that I and everyone who tunes in and is part of this community absolutely believes 100% that you can have it all in your life. You can have it all. And the way that we define that is an abundant, loving life. So I'm just grateful that you're here to explore what that looks like. Yeah, because it looks different for every single person. Everyone's version of having it all is slightly different. And today, we're talking about purpose and fulfillment, because those are two ingredients of having it all. Living a life where you feel connected to your purpose. Living a life where you feel fulfilled each and every day. That is absolutely part of having it all. Because remember, having it all isn't about possessing anything. It's about your feeling. It's about your experience of your life. And so purpose and fulfillment are absolutely part of the ingredients to having it all. And so to kick off this brand new series on purpose and fulfillment, I actually wanted to start with an episode, start with an episode from earlier in the year. So back in January of this year, I published an episode called A Different Take on Purpose, Vision, and Passion. And that's what we're going to start off with today, because this episode was a really great conversation where I dug into purpose, vision, and passion. And I talked about what makes each one of those things unique. Like, what is purpose? What really is vision? And what really is passion? How are they different? And then how do they intertwine? Because each one of those things are related. And when you're living a life where you believe and you feel and you know that you have it all, well, you have purpose, you have vision, and you have passion. But I know for myself, I have had in the past a very frustrating relationship towards purpose, vision, and passion, because on the one hand, I just believe that those things were so key to living an amazing life. That's what I had learned. That's what I had seen. That's what I just picked up, that, yeah, you need to have purpose. You need to be clear in your vision. You got to be coming from a place of passion. And so I recognize those things were important. However, I didn't feel like I had them, right? Like, I didn't feel like I really had vision. I didn't know exactly what that even was. Passion, I felt at times. Sometimes I felt very passionate. Other times I felt just sort of, blank. And purpose, I did not feel like I had any purpose at all. I felt very disconnected and very lost. And so it's one of those double-edged swords. It's like, on the one hand, I think that those things are important, and I felt like I really needed them in my life. But on the other hand, because I didn't have them, I was telling myself, well, you're just totally lost. This is why you're feeling sad, and this is why things aren't going the way that you want them to. It's because you don't have these key ingredients, but I didn't know how to get them. So this is a really great conversation, especially if you are currently feeling like you don't have purpose, vision, or passion. Or maybe you feel like you only have a little bit of them, maybe a little bit of some, and you're missing the others. And you want to learn how to cultivate purpose, vision, and passion. You want to learn how to inject those into your life and get them to work for you. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this conversation. And again, this is a great way to kick off our series on purpose and fulfillment, because this is going to help give you some context. This is going to help give you a starting point. So sit back, enjoy this episode. Again, the title is A Different Take on Purpose, Vision, and Passion. Let's get into it. Purpose, passion, vision, these have all been ideas that have sounded amazing. Like they've sounded awesome at one point in time in my life. However, I definitely have had some self-criticism. I've had some judgment towards myself at some point in my life, in my years, for either not having one or all three of those things. So maybe at some point in my life, I felt like I didn't have purpose. And because I didn't have purpose, and because I was seeing other people who clearly had purpose, I was judging myself. Or maybe I was lacking some motivation. I just didn't feel energized. I just didn't feel like I had drive. And I was telling myself, well, it's because you don't have passion. And so there's been this really interesting contrast of emotions that I've felt around the ideas of passion, vision, and purpose, where I really love what they stand for and I love the idea of them, but then at sometimes I've been very critical of myself for not having them. And I really don't want that for any of you. I don't want any of you all to be criticizing yourself because you feel that you lack quote unquote purpose, or because you feel that you just don't have quote unquote passion, right? So the thing that, what I want to do in this episode is I want you to know that the reality might be that you have these things. Your definition of them just might be a little off. What you think is passion may be something else.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And so I've been reading this awesome book. It's called E-Myth Mastery. It's here in front of me. E-Myth Mastery by Michael Gerber. And it's a really awesome business book. It's about building world-class companies, and that's my goal with Having It All. I want Having It All to be the premier place where people go to learn how to have it all and learn how to truly live abundant, loving lives. And so I've been studying this book. I've been pouring through it so that I can create that world-class enterprise. And Gerber has a really awesome chapter about passion, purpose, and vision. And so there's some ideas in that chapter, some quotes that I want to pull out because it really helps to distinguish those things and helps you to wrap your hands around what they actually are. So this episode, I'm not going to tell you how to find your purpose. I'm not going to tell you how to find your passion or tell you how to find your vision. Maybe in the future, if that's something you want, then just give me some feedback. Hit me up and let me know if that's what you want me to do. But the reason I'm not going to tell you how to do those things is because I feel that once you understand the difference between the three of them and once you understand how they interact, I think that many of you are going to uncover your passion, purpose, and vision simply by having that understanding. So let's start with purpose. Purpose is one of those things that you could just do a Google search and find so many articles about purpose that tell you how important it is, how vital it is that you figure out your purpose in life, that you can't be happy and joyful without a purpose. And, maybe that's true or not. I don't know. But what it always made me feel was that my purpose was going to end up being the thing that I did in my life, right? My purpose is going to be my business. My purpose is going to be my career. My purpose is going to be, raising my family. And that was always an interesting idea for me. Because then on the flip side, you have people who get into something that they truly love, who get burnt out by it and who don't want to do it anymore. And so I'm left sitting thinking, well, if that's your purpose and now you don't want to do it anymore, what does that mean, right? So when I was reading E-Myth, one of the things that Gerber wrote that really got me to like pause and reread it, he said, there is no purpose for purpose. There is no purpose for purpose. It simply is. And so that made me think back to, my common ideas around purpose, that when I think about purpose, I think about what I'm supposed to do with it, what I'm supposed to create with it, what like the end result is. And then feeling that if I don't have purpose, then my life's not going to have any meaning and I'm not going to leave any legacy. But if you start thinking about it like there is no purpose to purpose, that purpose simply is, that it's something that is just like called from within you with no agenda other than to be expressed, that idea can be extraordinarily freeing. That idea can be freeing because let's say that you just love to sing. You just love singing. You love expressing yourself through song. You've done it since you were young. You would just go and sing and you catch yourself doing it, just in your spare time. You just love to sing. But then at some point you felt like you needed to do something with that. I need to do something with this thing that I identify as my purpose. So I need to go to school for it. I need to, record some albums. I need to try and go and perform in front of people and get paid. And so that thing that you connected with as simply a purpose, as simply was, you just felt like you needed to sing and express yourself. You've now connected it to some end result. And then what happens is now you've connected to an end result, and now you don't feel like you can be successful or happy or fulfilled if that end result isn't met. That end result being, I need to get a record contract. That end result being, I need to perform in front of, an orchestra crowd. Whatever that is. And so when you think back to the idea that purpose could simply just be, that there's no purpose for purpose, that purpose simply is, then that gives you the ability to simply just experience that purpose within you without attachments. So for me, when I think, what is my purpose? I think about that thing that I've always loved to do, the thing that I always just felt that needed to come through me. It's creating. I feel so connected to the idea of creating. And I think back to when I was young, and I kind of look back at some of the things I love to do. And yeah, there was other things, other areas I like to express myself and things that maybe I had some passion in. But when it comes down to what that purpose, that thing that I felt like is just kind of just welling up within me that always needs to come out, it's just this idea of creation. And sometimes most of the time, honestly, that idea of creation has, I just go and create something and it's complete when it's complete. Like there's artwork in my house that is just complete. If you looked at it, you'd be like, okay, clearly you need to finish painting this because he's lacking a face or this body is not filled in. But for me, according to my purpose and what I was feeling, it was complete. It was done. And I wanted to go on to something else. So that idea of purpose being simply that thing that needs to be expressed within you for no other reason than expressing it, if you start to think of your life and think of those things that you feel called to do, then maybe there has been purpose within you. You just haven't thought that was purpose because you didn't have the next thing that I'm going to talk about, which is what's necessary to take that purpose and manifest something that impacts other people. And that's vision. Vision is that grand idea, that grand plan, that thing that you can see in your mind that you're like, oh my gosh, I could do this and I could do that and I could see how all these pieces interact and holy crap, this is big. And maybe it's not necessarily big in that you're going to go build $1 billion company. Maybe it's just big in its importance to you. And what happens a lot of times is I think people connect or collapse purpose into vision. But if you look at them as two separate things, then you go back to the example of somebody who needs to sing. Well, now you could be expressing and experiencing that purpose simply just needing to sing and get those emotions out that way. And then it's your vision, right? The vision that you have of the thing you want to build or what you want to do with that purpose that can then basically create this little box for it. So now they can remain as separate things, right? Your purpose can still be pure. It can be this pure expression that doesn't have any other end goal other than to exist. While your vision can be that thing that you go after. And your vision can be that thing that you say, you know what, this is what I want to create. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to use that purpose. And so when I think of vision that way, I end up, because I love building businesses and brands and different things like that, I think of entrepreneurs. I think of people who have had some big idea, some vision, and that vision, when you get to know that individual, like you could see their purpose underneath it, but they are separate. So the next piece is passion, and for that, I actually want to read a little bit from E-Myth. Gerber writes, "So much is said about passion, but so little is really understood. Perhaps because it is so experiential, so emotional, so not of the mind, that it's so difficult to put into words, but I'm going to try. Passion is a powerful, organic arising. It is a surge of energy that has nothing to do with commitment, determination, resolve, or a hearty hunger for getting what you don't have. I don't know of anything more potent than the passion that rises up in my body for no obvious reason whatsoever." So passion is one of those really cool things because when you combine passion, vision, and purpose, you go and create some stuff. You go and build some amazing stuff. But passion is almost kind of like purpose, like where purpose, there is no purpose for purpose. There really isn't a rhyme or reason for passion. It just erupts. It just comes up. And I think most of us, if not every single one listening right now, can think back to a moment where they felt just an overwhelming sense of passion, that energy arise out of nowhere and maybe was directed at something that surprised them. Maybe you recognize that you had a passion for something, and when that first wave of that passion came over you, you were like, oh my gosh, I didn't have any idea that this was in me. But that passion is there. I think that passion lies within all of us. Some of us, it might be dormant. It might just be kind of slumbering under the surface. But dormant passion is different than non-existent passion. So if you haven't felt passion in a long time, it's not because it doesn't exist within you. It's not that you don't have it. It's just dormant. It hasn't necessarily been unlocked, or because since passion has a lot to do with emotion, passion isn't always necessarily called into being. It's just maybe for you haven't aligned yourself with perhaps your purpose or perhaps with the vision that gets that passion going. So I want to read a couple of quotes for you from E-Myth that ties these three ideas together. I saved these quotes because I wanted to go through what purpose was, what vision was, and what passion was. And then now I'm going to show you how they all interact and work together. So Gerber writes, "Purpose in the sense of a vision is what passion serves." I'll say it again. Purpose in the sense of a vision is what passion serves. It provides passion with something to do, which is greater than itself, which is more productively focused than what passion finds when it wakes up every morning. Vision is a reason to live. You can call it purpose, but the minute you turn it into a purpose, it calls forth the part of you that is more focused on results than process. Purpose doesn't free you. Vision can. That's some fascinating stuff right there. Because, again, so many of us have heard the rhetoric that you have to, in order to be happy, in order to be free, you have to know your purpose. And here he's saying purpose doesn't free you, vision can. And I get that. I totally get that, because your purpose might simply just to do that thing that you enjoy, that you feel called to do. And that may or may not free you. Right? You may not feel completely free and content and fulfilled simply because you understand your purpose. But once you have a vision a vision of how you can use that purpose or allow that purpose to flow through you to manifest something that impacts other people, now there's that sense of freedom. Now there's that sense of, oh my gosh, okay, I see how I can connect with this and truly feel aligned and truly feel fired up. And then that passion kicks in once you have those two things. And that passion is that it's like shoveling coal into the engine. It gets you going and it gets you creating that thing. Gerber also writes, the vision is what calls us. The purpose is what manifests the vision. The passion is what fuels us to achieve what we can't clearly describe in a way that we are made able to describe it. So the vision is what calls us, the purpose is what manifests the vision, and the passion is what fuels us. I love that. I totally love that because I can connect with it. Because I know what it's like to kind of go through and feel like I'm pretty clear on my purpose, and I felt passion, but you put those two things together and you're missing vision, well, now things can get all sorts of convoluted. You can start to think that, the thing that you're called to do, well, now I got to go and make a business out of it, or now I got to go and do this with it, or now I got to go and do that with it. And if you think back, right, you don't want to put an end result on purpose. Purpose simply is. And for a long time, I lacked vision. I wasn't hit with that vision of what I could create, of who I could become, of how I could impact other people.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And without that vision, I'm operating off of purpose and I have a little bit of passion here and there. And go back to the very beginning of when we started this conversation. Here I am looking at those words, passion, vision, purpose, and being frustrated. Because on the one hand, I want them and I felt some of them. But on the other hand, here I am judging myself. Here I am comparing myself because, I look on, TV and I see Tony Robbins and he's clearly full of passion. He clearly knows his purpose and he clearly has a big vision that he's manifested. And the only way to, quote unquote, achieve success is to have those things. So this was a really eye-opening chapter in eMyth for me. And you could tell why I wanted to bring this to the podcast. Because again, eMyth is all about, building that world-class enterprise. But what's really fascinating, even if you are inspired to build businesses in your life, who you are, your character, gets infused into the DNA of the business that you build. That's why there's a lot of, self-help, I'm doing air quotes right now, self-help conversation and trainings that are within business schools or business trains of thought. Not even business schools, because I went to a business school. They didn't do any self-help type stuff, personal development type stuff. But when you get to higher levels, the people who operate the business are the ones that are going to make it succeed or not, ones that are going to make it effective or not. And if those people aren't mature and able to manage and handle themselves, well, then it's going to be reflected in the business. So it doesn't shock me that Gerber in his book is bringing out all these things about passion, vision, and purpose, all these personal development types of things in his book. All of that stuff is just super, super fascinating to me. So hopefully by now, after having heard some of the distinction between passion, vision, and purpose, and seen and heard how they can interact with one another, hopefully by now, if you have felt that you lack any one of the three, you might now be able to see that maybe you don't necessarily lack it. Just maybe the way you define them, or maybe the way your beliefs around them, how you perceive them, was a little bit off. or was leading you in a direction to believe something like I did, right? To believe that if I didn't know my purpose, then my life was going to feel empty. When that's not really it. You can understand your purpose. Maybe you're working on getting more clear on it, but you can have an idea. But it's without that vision, because that vision is what you're going to now point that passion energy towards creating. And if you don't have that, I think the vision is one of the most important pieces, quite frankly. Because each one of us has purpose. There's a reason why each one of us is here. Some people understand it a little bit more clearly than others, but it doesn't mean that you don't have it. But not everybody has vision. Not everybody has been hit with that vision for what is calling you. The vision for that thing that your spirit wants to create in your life. Whether it's an amazing family of just really loving, kind, generous, strong individuals, or maybe your vision is to create an organization that impacts the world in some type of way, or maybe your vision is to create a business that provides you and all your employees with the lifestyles that you want to live. Whatever it is, without that vision, if you don't have that vision, then it can be incredibly easy to feel disconnected, to feel lost, and then to feel frustrated. And I know because I've been there. And so I'm very curious where you're at. I'm very curious what's percolating through your mind now that you have a slightly different viewpoint or perspective on passion, vision, and purpose. And I'd love to hear about it. I'd love for you to leave me a review on iTunes or shoot me a message on Instagram, Matthew_Bivens, and just tell me what you feel your purpose is. Maybe tell me what you have been operating, what vision you've been going to create. Or tell me those things that get that passion fired up. Or share with me where you're at with it all. Maybe you just don't feel like you have any of that stuff. And one of the cool things about all of this is that when you stay within different types of conversations like these, like the more you stay in conversations around connecting to your purpose, your passion, or your vision, particularly if you don't feel like you have them, if you stay in these conversations, stuff's going to start happening. Stuff's going to start shifting in your life. It kind of relates back to the thing that all of us have heard, like we become the 5 people that we hang around most. It's like that energy, that environments that we place ourselves in. So if you place yourselves in a conversation with people who are talking about purpose, if you start reading things about purpose, if you start watching TED Talks on purpose, if you start, just engaging with these conversations around purpose, you will discover yours. It's just how that stuff works. So if you felt frustrated because you don't have purpose, you feel like you don't have purpose, you feel like you really don't have vision for your life, or you feel like you just are lacking passion, then I encourage you to get curious, bringing it back to those magical moments. I encourage you to get curious and start going out and just absorbing content on passion or vision or purpose, whatever it is that you feel that you are lacking, whatever area you feel kind of stuck in. Because that's going to get some gears rolling for you. Because maybe you're going to hear a new perspective like I gave you today. And maybe that new perspective is going to unlock something within you. And maybe that when that thing is unlocked, you recognize, oh, crap, that's my purpose. Oh, wow, okay. I'm a little bit more clear now. So there's a lot of things that could have potentially come out of this episode. And I was just really, really excited to share this one with you. And so this is great. I'm going to go and work more on my vision, because that was one of the big things I got from it. I thought, wow, okay, I'm not very clear on my vision, on what I want to build, and so I've been putting some very intentional work into that vision. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do, put work into my vision so that it's connected to my purpose and is fueled by my passion, because I truly want to be able to impact you all, impact the world, just to show people that, hey, listen, an abundant, loving life is so much more than possible. It just comes down to some basic things, and give people the tools and the support and the accountability to go ahead and create that in their lives. So that's it for today's conversation. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, talking about all of these fantastic things, talking about having it all. I love it. I appreciate you. My name is Matthew Bivens, and here is to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.